All right, are we live? Yo, all right. Welcome to a new stream reacting to the trash fire of the DeSantis Haley Town Hall. This is important, of course, because we're really talking about a big deal here. Something where we have an election coming up in less than a week in Iowa. In Iowa, the first election. Imagine that. We've been waiting for so long for this to go down. We finally get to see a little bit of it. And we're going to see exactly what these candidates do. These are the two hegemons behind Donald Trump. Sure, they're like second place, but they're lapping by a big margin. Anyway, so let's get the link out there and let's start reacting to the content as soon as possible. Uh, Hold on, 1 minuto. All right, so we have this going on. I'm going to look up the RCP aggregate. We're going to try to get a sense of scale for what's going on because we have a primary election coming up, as I was talking about. And what's interesting about this is that the Iowa election's coming up, but the New Hampshire one's also a big deal. The New Hampshire thing is actually even a bigger deal than Iowa in a lot of ways because a lot of people are campaigning there over Iowa, such as like Chris Christie, etc. And so, predicated on that, you can assume that Chris Christie won't drop out on the basis of the Iowa election. And so, you have to kind of get that in frame. So, let's look at Real Clear Politics. Now, what I don't like about the website is that they changed the freaking format when I'm trying to do this thing. And that's difficult. And now it's like all white. And I don't know if that's all right, but let's go and look at this. We have the Republican nomination polls. Let's get this up. All right. So, as you can see here, and I'll share my screen. All right. So the RCP average is Trump up by 51%. You have him up by scores of 50, 50, 57, 56, 41, 56, 38, 49, 55, 49. So he's up on all these by a lot. If you look here, you see Trump at 62.7 on the aggregate. Haley at 11, DeSantis at 11, well, 10.9. Ramaswamy at 4.3, Christie at 3.3, Hutch at 0.8. So I forgot he was still in the race somehow, but here we are. So we have the closest we have Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley tied with about 11% of the vote and both 50% behind Donald Trump. Christie at 3, Ramaswamy at 4. So, it is what it is. So we've got that going on. All right. So now that you see this, you might get the impression that there's a big influx of people coming up. Hold on. Let me adjust my settings a little bit. All right. So we're going to be reacting to, I think, the Ron DeSantis one first.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Now, it's great to be back at Grandview. Thanks, CNN. So I heard the other day someone say that Caitlin Collins had some basketball skills. Now, I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but I know
Cornball alert. Cornball alert. Really? I know that you're into basketball. Dude, really? What a fucking cornball.
They have a Caitlin Clark. So I just wanted to give you this as a memento. And just respectfully, if the game's on the line and we need a buzzer
By the way,
beater,
the DeSantis campaign, which according to everybody is a multi-$100 million affair, evidently has a YouTube channel with only 29.7 thousand subscribers, and it's the verified account. You can look in the corner, okay? Only 3,931 views in the CNN Town Hall with Caitlin Collins from yesterday night, yeah? And what you'll notice, it's been up for 6 hours and only has 360p as the fucking option here, eh? That's ridiculous, buddy.
With Clark over Collins, so.
Rest assured, her free throws and her threes are much better than mine, Governor. But thank you so much for that. Thank you. And good luck to her playing against Rutgers on Friday night. Governor, thank you for being here. Obviously, as you know, just 45 minutes away from here at Perry High School earlier today in Perry, Iowa, there was a shooting. A sixth grader was killed. Five others were injured, including a school administrator.
Speed it up. Let's go.
After winter break. We've got some questions from voters here in the audience about this tonight. So first tonight, to start off, I want to turn to Jennifer Lemon, who is here. She is a child care provider from Des Moines, a Republican who says that she is undecided in this race.
You look at this girl and you know for a fact there's nothing fun coming out of her mouth. The best thing you'd ever hear from Gretchen on the left is, there's cookies in there. That's it.
Hi there, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. In light of the shooting today, and without taking away any gun rights, what would you do to address the issue?
Well, first, our hearts go out.
Well, how the fuck would you address it then? It's like saying, as a plumber, without your tools, how would you stop a leakage? I don't know, put my fucking hand in there? What do you want me to do? Like, look at the school shooter and be like, What are you?
Out to the people of Perry. I've been able to spend a lot of time in Dallas County. It's great folks there. To have these kids go back the first day after Christmas break, this is a tragedy. To lose a sixth grader. My wife and I, we have a first grader, a
fucking
kindergartner, and
cares?
a preschooler. And so when you send your kids to
They have to go back to school the day after Christmas break. What do you want them to take a week off for? What, for mourning? Why?
school, you know, you want to be focused on the academics and the activities. The physical safety should not be an issue with our schools, and parents need to have confidence in that.
Comment in the live chat. Who do you think is going to do better, Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley? They're both tied in the polls, so it's really a fair comparison. So let's check out what happens.
So I think what we'll do is support efforts like I did in Florida. When I became governor, it was on the heels of the worst school shooting that we had had in the history of the state, and I was charged with implementing reforms to be able to provide security for schools. So we've done everything but like school resource officers, help with hardening.
Oh, so boring.
also
Holy
help
shit, man.
identify
My God.
students that are exhibiting really problematic behavior. You know, one of the tragedies that came out of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas back in Florida was that before people even had identified who did it, most of the people in that community already knew who did it because there were so many warning signs. We're getting more information about what happened in Perry, but it seems like this student had some serious problems. We do things.
Okay, that sounds like a reasonable response, and that's an okay political statement. But the problem is that that's actually an encroachment on civil liberties when you really look at it. Where he's saying is like, well, we had some red flags, and therefore we should like repossess the gun rights of so and so, or you know maybe look into what the fact that this guy's crazy, and so we're gonna have the FBI start tracking people more so, because that's like the sort of Minority Report thing that he's going for that a lot of people don't pick up on.
Things like behavioral threat assessment to take this seriously so that there can be an intervention. If they're committing criminal acts, to hold them accountable. And if they have mental health problems, you got to deal with it.
Governor, I'm glad that you brought up the laws that are in Florida, because right now a state senator from Florida wants to eliminate that mandatory 3-day waiting period to buy a rifle or a shotgun in your state. That is one of the changes that, if it was eliminated, would undo something that was put in place after the Parkland shooting. Do you support eliminating that waiting period?
I think that the background check should be instant. You have the thing, somebody goes, you can run them, and you can see if there's a criminal conviction. If they're a felon, then obviously they ping. If they have mental health adjudication, then of course they're going to ping. But I think you want it to be instant background checks, and so that's what I support.
So you don't support the 3-day waiting period?
I think it should be instant.
You'd be okay with eliminating it?
I think it should be instant background checks. This is somebody that people that go, law-abiding citizens exercising their rights, you shouldn't have to be on a mandatory waiting period. Instant checks will do the job.
I want to turn to another voter and some other issues that are here on the minds of Iowa voters tonight. This is Kurt Ellis. He is an operations coordinator from Grimes, Iowa, a Republican who says he is undecided. Kurt, thank you for being here. What's
The
your
fuck are his lips doing, man? That's like a stroke waiting to happen.
Governor. Donald Trump is leading by significant margins in polling, particularly here in Iowa. What do you consider a winning performance in Iowa, and what is your strategy past Iowa?
Yikes.
Well, Kurt, nobody's leading until you guys get to vote. So I actually believe in.
Oh my fucking God, really? That's like if there's a karate, a fucking katana going through your throat and it's 2 inches away and you're like, nobody's bleeding until it hits me. It's gonna hit you.
The process.
It's gonna
I've
hit
gone
you.
to all 99 counties. I've shown up. I've answered questions.
Nobody fucking cares. Oh, I've been to all 99 counties. Nobody gives a shit, dude. Like, why would I care?
You'll see me on the debate stage next week here in Iowa on January 10th.
That'll
not willing
change
to show up on the
everything, huh?
debate stage. Has he come to communities and answered questions? Has he gone to all 99 counties? Heck, has
He
even
doesn't
gone
need
9
to. He's a
counties?
baller.
That's not the way to do it. So voters get to make this decision. Don't let the media pick the candidate. Let voters decide. And this is a long process. I put in a lot of time in Iowa because I think doing 99 counties is the way it's done here. People want to be able to ask you questions. They want to be able to shake your hand. So I've done it because that's what Iowans expect, to do the full Grassley. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the subsequent states. You got to win a massive amount of delegates, and we're going to be in a situation where we're going to be competing, and it's going to be a long, arduous process, but Iowa starts it off. You guys get to make the decision. Don't let the media or the pundits make the decision. Vote for who you think could be the best president of the United States. And
See, that's all gaslighting. He's like, you guys make the decisions, but when it comes to the surveys, don't listen to the polls. But the polls are the people speaking. God damn. It's like saying, don't listen to what your mom tells me. Just come and go on the date with me. But when I ask you on the date, you say no. Oh, but don't believe the people gaslighting you, like the media, nigga. Like, the people are also not in favor of you. Like,
I'm here to tell you the choice, I think, is clear. Donald Trump is running for his issues. Nikki Haley's running for her donors' issues. I'm running for your issues. I'm running for your family's issues, and I'm running to turn this country around.
Governor,
he licked his lips,
Kurt
kind of
mentioned
off.
how the former president is leading significantly in polls. I know you dismissed some of those polls and say you want to see what happens on the 15th. You just referenced what you believe Trump is running on this time. You say his own issues. And you said before that you don't think he's the same candidate that he was in 2016. What should voters in Iowa know about what you think a second Trump presidency, a second Trump term would look like if they do pick him over you?
Well, so here, look, we saw what happened in the midterms in 2022. Remember, they said that this was going to be a red wave. You had a red wave in Iowa and Florida because Governor Reynolds led and because I led, and we won historic victories. The rest of the Republicans in the Senate and House crashed and burned. Donald Trump's candidates, handpicked candidates, lost because the Democrats have a playbook that they can run. It was effective in 2018, it was effective in 2020, 21, 22, and even this year in 2023. So don't repeat that. The Democrats want Trump to be the candidate. They are going to talk about all the legal stuff. January 6th, that will be what the election will be about. You don't want it to be a referendum on Trump and the past. You want it to be a referendum on Biden's failures, on our positive vision for this country. I offer that. And oh, by the way, you need somebody that can serve 2 terms. You're going to go in there as a lame duck president, even if you could get elected. I don't think that that's how it works there. We need a change agent in Washington. We need somebody that's going to go in there, actually unwind the bureaucry, which Trump promised to do and didn't do. We need a president that's going to stop the border invasion by building a wall, which Trump promised to do but didn't do. We going to be willing to deport illegal aliens. Donald Trump said he would in 2016. He'd have the largest deportation in history. He deported less than Barack Obama did in Obama's first term.
Okay, that's a fake number. The deportations under Obama were that they'd take you from, let's say, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and put you over the border. That's it. With the Trump deportations, they'd take you from, let's say, Tucson and take you all the way to Mexico City, take you several hours away. The recidivism rate for illegal immigrants under the Trump deportation regime was way less than and was a fraction of the Obama ones.
I will actually get the job done, and I will hold the Mexican drug cartels accountable for the carnage that they're causing in this country. They are killing tens of thousands of our fellow Americans. When I'm president, we're going to designate them as foreign terrorist organizations. Donald Trump had an opportunity to do that. He didn't do it. I will.
Well, Governor,
okay, that's a good talking point. I don't think it works that way, but all right.
This is Joseph Howe. He is a business consultant from Des Moines who is the former Iowa Libertarian state chair. He now says he is Republican and he's undecided. Joseph?
Yeah, thanks for being here. Governor, almost all illegal migrants crossing the border carry a backpacker bag, and very few are cartel members. If you order to shoot on site, now accepting women and children, how many innocent people are you willing to have killed to kill one low-level drug mule?
Well, Joseph, thanks for that, but I take issue with the premise of that. When you're conducting military operations, you're not just doing that willy-nilly. I'm the only one running for president that actually has served overseas in a war in the Iraq campaign. They didn't wear uniforms. You had to positively identify. People would have hostile actions, hostile intent.
This is an appeal to authority.
And then you would be able to engage. So it's going to be the same type of thing. It's not going to be, and it's anything like we do even in domestically when a police officer would engage. So it's not going to be done the way the media is saying it's going to be done. But I will tell you this, I've been down there. The cartel will cut holes in the actual border wall, and they will come through with fentanyl. So my question to you and other critics who don't say, how many fentanyl deaths are enough? Are we just supposed to sit here and let this happen? I think a president not only has a right, I think you have a responsibility to fight back against these people. I am sick and tired of seeing the carnage in this country. And in my travels through Iowa, I've met angel parents, people that have lost kids to fentanyl overdose. And a lot of times, these are not drug addicts. These are maybe a college student that...
Okay, so again, the answer is, are you going to kill low-level drug mules or what? He's saying people are dying. Yeah, but these are drug dealers, not fucking... You know, these are mules bringing it up. It isn't like cartel members per se.
Stressed out during exams, so they buy a pill thinking it's going to help them get through the night, and it turns out it's laced with fentanyl. That could be enough to poison that student to death. And so this is shattering families. It's shattering communities. The people in D.C., they just shrug their shoulder. They could care less about what's going on. Well, I care about this. I care about defending American communities and American families. And so, yes, they have killed more Americans than all the terrorist groups in this world.
Solar Select says he's so politician-y. True. We're slugging it out. I'm doing this as a hobby. I'm doing this to kind of like, because I was going to watch it anyway. I was like, might as well just do it live. This is brutal. This is brutal. I don't know how people like real American can fucking sit through this. This is tough.
Combined over the last 5 years, when is enough enough?
But you do think you would have the intelligence to do that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Look, we have surveillance, we have drones, we have intel, we have a whole bunch of stuff. This is something, it's a matter of will. We can do it if we want to do it. And I would note, I was the candidate that came out to do it. Now you have other candidates that are saying, they want to do this. Somehow.
I messed up the audio again.
In the past, others had not even supported things like border walls in the past. So we've been a leader on this issue.
I got to skip around. I'm sorry. I'm copping the plea,
man.
man.
It's an incentive to come illegally. That was not the intention of that. So yes, we support American citizens, obviously. But when people are coming illegally, they do not have a birthright at that point. That'll get litigated by the Supreme Court. But I'm convinced the court has never actually addressed that issue. And I think we would win on the law because that was not what the 14th Amendment was intended to do.
That would be an executive order, and then you expect that it would be legally challenged?
Sure, of course it would be legally challenged.
Okay. I do want to go to...
And by the way, on this,
go ahead.
Donald Trump ran in 2016 saying he would do exactly what I just said. Did he ever sign his name to an executive order when he promised the voters that he was going to do it? Never signed it. What is he now telling people in Iowa this time around? He says he's going to do the same thing that he didn't do the first 4 years. I mean, sometimes you can say Congress stymied you, all this other stuff. All he had to do was put his John Hancock on a piece of paper, and he did not do it. So look, I mean, when I tell you I'm going to do something,
okay, that's a good. Okay, that is a good criticism to say like, okay, all you had to do was an executive order and you didn't do it. Now, realistically, he probably had some other reason not to. Like probably somebody told him that he couldn't, so he just didn't look into it. Stuff like this. But I mean, that seems like a good argument from his point of view.
We got another voter question, but just it sounds like you're saying Republican voters can't trust Donald Trump.
Well, what I'm saying is if you've run before, promised things, didn't deliver, and then you're running on the same things, wouldn't it be reasonable to say, well, gee, I don't know that I can take that to the bank going forward? So, yes, I think the fact that he's campaigning on something, that does not mean that he would actually follow through on it.
We have Mary Lou here, Mary Lou Nosko. She is a retired Army officer and educator from Nevada, Iowa. She says that she is a Republican who is undecided. Mary Lou, thank you for being here tonight. What's your question for the governor?
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for appreciate
Fuck.
the sacrifice that you and your family,
Don't
graduate
care,
and a
don't care.
professional, and he feels he will never be able to purchase a home. Home ownership has long been a major part of more accessible to the middle class.
Well, thank you for the question, veterans, but also a lot of the spouses that have served veterans have carried a big load. It's a family effort, and we owe a debt of gratitude to a lot of people. A couple things we do. One, we need to get interest rates down. The reason why we have high interest rates is because government has borrowed, printed, and spent ungodly sums of money starting in March of 2020. Both parties are responsible for it, and that has driven the interest rates up. Right now, the average price home, your monthly mortgage payment is twice as much as it would have been 5 years ago if you had a mortgrage on the average price. So now some of it is home prices have gone up, but a lot of it is because of the interest rates.
That's
The other
insane.
thing we got to do, we need more housing supply in this country. I actually signed legislation in Florida to green light projects, particularly for workforce housing, because you have a situation where in some parts of the country, if you're a police officer or a teacher or a nurse, you can't afford to live in the community where you work. So we can expect cops to have to commute an hour, hour and a half just to go to some of these areas. And then you have rural communities where there's a deficit of housing as well. So lower interest rates and more housing supply. But if we don't solve this issue, and it's housing is part of it and buying a home, but I think there's larger issues about people, young people that are working hard, doing everything right, are falling behind. It's almost cost prohibitive to raise kids in this economy. That's taking the American dream away. Florida, I've been governor. We've actually paid down 25% of our state's debt. I've cut taxes every year. Our economy's ranked number one of all
there you
50
go.
states.
Okay, he's cooking.
CNBC. We lead the nation in net in-migration. Income growth is top of the charts. Number one in
Okay.
education. So we've
Okay.
shown how it's done, and we need to bring that same level of success to the United States of America.
Florida as well, you have no income tax. You have said that you believe other states should follow Florida's lead on that. If you were president, would you eliminate the federal income tax?
Oh, I mean, can I stop dreaming? I mean, like, wouldn't you like to eliminate the IRS? And what I would want is I think I would eliminate the IRS, have a single rate, and just do like a flat tax. I think that would be the ideal tax system to be able to do, take away the distortions. And what happens is Florida's a good example of this. We have low tax and we cut taxes, and yet
OSS
attract
says,
more
what's the
investment
difference
and
between
our
the two
economic base
candidates?
expands.
I'd say Ron is actually a better candidate insofar as he's like a guy, first of all, so I'm biased too, because I think he has a better conservative record. So like on a scale of 1 to 10, you could say Donald Trump, let's say, is a 10 out of 10 conservative, which he isn't. But if he's the litmus test, okay, so let's say Trump at 10, Ron DeSantis would be like a 7 or an 8, Nikki would be like a 5 or a 6. So you get a little bit of a scale. Solar says one looks hot in heels. I mean, sort of. I mean, Nikki Haley has a better jawline than I do. I don't know.
So I run these big budget surpluses where we're paying down debt by lowering rates. I think you look at some of the other states that are high tax states, they tax, they cause businesses to flee and individuals to flee. Then they go back to the well. They tax more, and it's like a vicious cycle. So low rates, broad base, ultimately is the best and most conducive to economic
But you
growth.
would push to eliminate the federal income tax.
I want to eliminate the IRS, and I would like a flat, one single rate, flat tax. Is obviously I would only do it if it was lower taxes for everybody, but that is the ideal tax system.
Governor, I want to bring in Eric Adey, who is an attorney from Ames, Iowa, a Republican who says that he is undecided in this race. Eric, what's your question?
Governor, I vote primarily based on foreign policy. And my question to you tonight is, should the United States supply Ukraine with more advanced weaponry, including aircraft, with an aim to helping them regain the captured territory? Or should we just urge them to accept a partial loss?
Security issues. I would say the top in this country are the border and China. And so I think what people in D.C. are doing, they're ignoring those security threats. They've done an awful lot of money to Ukraine, including money paying for things like pensions for bureaucrats, salaries. How is that something that's benefiting the American people? So what I've said about this is, one, we need to bring it to a conclusion. I think Europe needs to do more to meet their NATO obligations. I mean, ultimately, Russia is more of a threat to them than not. But as president, I'll be very clear, because people will talk about you got to do more money there because so that they don't invade a NATO country. You know, as president of the United States, NATO will be a red line. They will not, Russia will not go after a NATO country when I'm president, bar none.
You said bring it to a conclusion. Does that mean end
This is just a Trump talking point.
U.S. support for Ukraine?
It means end the conflict. I think we're now in a situation.
do you do that?
Biden can't even tell us what the end game is. He will not articulate this. And just as somebody that has served, I think the pitfall of U.S. foreign policy over the past 25 years, really since the Cold War, is getting involved in conflicts where we don't have a clear conception of what we're trying to achieve, or we don't have enough support to be able to actually bring it to a conclusion. So
Cop
he will not
out.
articulate-
Dude, this is the most obvious shit. We started projects that failed. It failed because we didn't have a good enough vision. I mean, you could say that about everything.
that. And I, as president of the United States, if I'm going to be obligating U.S. resources, I want a clear plan for what we're going to accomplish, and I want to make sure that we're going to be able to accomplish that. He has not done that. It's also just the case this. Biden's weakness invited a lot of the problems that we're seeing around the world. How he left Afghanistan was a total disgrace.
Ooh, I fucking God, man. The greatest hits
and you're
with
not
the
having
fucking
wars break out
Republicans.
to Europe. That is our interest in this, to not have larger conflicts. And I think part of the problem is the would have border. That border is a threat to this country because hostile people are coming across the southern border. So we need to focus on our house here. And what bugs me about what's going on in D.C. is they ignore problems here in the United States.
This is so generic, man. Jesus.
A heartbeat bill. Other states have done other things. And so that's just, I think, where the country is right now. So we'll be somebody that will defend particularly the rights of states to be able to enact pro-life protections. Now, you have a difference of opinion in this primary because Donald Trump has said that pro-life protections, even at the state level, are a, quote, terrible thing. And he said that in relation to bills like what Iowa did, the heartbeat bill. Now, this is a guy that was at the March for Life in January of 2020, and he said that all life was a gift from God. He said the unborn was made in the image of God. He said that there should be protections. That's what he was saying when he was president at the March for Life. Now he's saying it's a terrible, terrible thing. So how do you reconcile those two views? Did he flip-flop? Did he not believe it at the time? But then to go even further, he actually has said, elevate this issue to the federal government. What he wants to do is find a time. I think he floated like 18 or 20 weeks. Have that be the limit, but then override any protections that states have done that are more than that. Well, that is not going to be advancing the cause of life. And so I think for pro-life voters in Iowa, Donald Trump is taking positions that are way different than what he professed to believe when he first ran for president in 2016.
Do you think?
Okay, so two things. First of all, Ron DeSantis and his line of logic is correct, but the Machiavellian side is that obviously it's not electable to be more conservative in the abortion thing, even though the whole thing is a red herring. Because an abortion at 6 weeks and one at 18 is the same difference. You're still killing the kid regardless, right? It's the same difference. That being said, there's an optics like differential, I suppose. Bigger clump of cells. Okay, fine, but the thing is that DeSantis doesn't give a fuck about the general election because he's so focused on the primary. And so you can see why he does this sort of talking point. But Trump is completely vindicated in being somewhat of a liberal on the abortion thing because he needs to get elected. So it's okay.
Donald Trump is not pro-life?
Of course not. I mean, when you're saying that pro-life protections are a terrible thing, by definition, you are not pro-life. When you say that you want to have a federal law at 18 weeks or 20 weeks that would override a state like Iowa that has enacted pro-life protections, that would mean more abortions, not less abortions, because very few abortions are happening that late anyways. So he has flip-flopped on this issue. I don't know if it's because of political convenience or this is all where he always believed in, but here's the thing. Some issues are pretty fundamental. How do you flip-flop on something like the sanctity of life?
It's pretty remarkable to hear you say that, Governor, to say that you don't think Donald Trump is pro-life. You mentioned the bill that was signed in Florida, the 6-week abortion bill that you signed earlier this year. That bill has exceptions, but those exceptions, I want to talk about them because for rape and incest, a woman would only have up to 15 weeks to get an abortion, and only if the woman brings a police report, a restraining order, medical record, or a court document to her appointment. For fetal abnormality, that exception requires a sign-off from 2 doctors. Do you think that those limits are reasonable and that women agree that those limits are reasonable? So
the Florida legislature enacted a heartbeat bill with those exceptions. Not every state has done that. Iowa, I don't think, has done that. Some of the other states have not. But those exceptions are in law. I know those are issues that a lot of people have strong feelings about. And so I signed the legislation with those exceptions in law. Rape, incest, life of the mother, victims of human trafficking, as well as the really terrible situations where you have the fetal abnormality. So that is what I think the people wanted, and that was what the law reflects.
But you personally signed it into law. You could have vetoed it if you didn't agree with it. So do you think those are reasonable exceptions?
Those are exceptions that have been talked about for many, many years. And the legislature put those in very
Politician
carefully.
answer
And yes,
alert.
of course, I think they're reasonable.
You did sign a 15-week bill before that. It didn't have exceptions for rape or incest. If you are president, you've said that you would support a 15-week ban.
Well, here's
on
the
abortion,
thing,
a
though.
federal ban. But would it include those exceptions?
But the reason why it wasn't is because there was no reason required at all for up to the 15 weeks. And so that's why they didn't put it in. When you're talking about a heartbeat, it's just a different, there's a prudential judgment that the legislatures are making. But I've said I support exceptions and would support exceptions.
We want to bring in Ronald Lanel, a Medicare insurance agent and retired farmer from Ankeny, Iowa. Thank you for being here, Ronald. He is a Republican who says that he is supporting Nikki Haley in this race. He is also Indiana veteran, so thank you for your service as well. What's your question for the governor?
Thank you. First off, from one veteran to another,
Oh, my God.
please give me your definition of patriotism. Did the January 6th insurrectionists display patriotism, as some of them claim they did?
No, of course not. I mean, that was not a good day for the country. I think the media has taken that, and I think the left has taken that and really tried to politicize it.
Optics cuck, Ron. Optics cuck. They're not patriots. Then what the fuck are they? What? It's like Fallout, right? Oh, they wanted their own clan, their own cult. Are you retarded? They're like the most redneck patriotic people ever. Dumbass. Like, were they dumb? Yeah, but I think it's like, oh, they're not patriots because they like stormed the Capitol. That's like saying you don't love your wife because you beat your wife. I think you love her a little too much because if you're hitting her, then you're just a fucking idiot. So, like, you don't care about her. No, you do. That's the problem.
Good day for the country.
Chill
patriotism
out.
to me is willing to put yourself out there and put service above self. I mean, you served. Anyone that serves in the military, they're writing a check payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and including their life. You don't know where they're going to send you. You don't know what you're going to be able to do. But when you're doing that, you are pursuing a higher purpose. And so to me, that's noble. We have a lot of problems in the military now with recruiting. Recruiting's at a generational low in this country since the Vietnam War. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, and I will rectify that. But part of it is we haven't had a president elected who's been a veteran since 1988, a president that served in a foreign conflict. So I would be the first to do that. And part of what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out all the political, the woke, all the nonsense out of the military's commander-in-chief day one. But we are going to hold up military service as being something that's a noble cause. You know, Ronald Reagan was inspiring when he would talk about some people spend a lifetime not knowing whether they made a difference, but a U.S. Marine doesn't have that problem. John F. Kennedy said people can look back on their life with a great deal of satisfaction saying, I served in the United States Navy. And so this is something that I think is very important. So I will be an advocate for people to pursue.
President keeps claiming that he can't be prosecuted for anything that happened while he was in office because he has presidential immunity. If you were the nominee, if you're elected president, do you think you would have blanket presidential immunity?
Well, look, I mean, you take an oath to support and defend the Constitution. I did it when I commissioned as an officer. Anyone that serves in the military does it. I took an oath as governor. As president, you're taking an oath to take care that the laws are faithfully executed and to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So I'm going to wield my authority with that obligation in mind. And if I don't think something is constitutional, I am duty-bound to oppose it. That's just the nature of the job. And so I make constitutional judgments all the time. It doesn't mean a court always agrees with it, but I'm going through that analysis. So, for example, if Congress sends me a piece of legislation that I think violates...
Boring. Holy shit, man.
May or nominate me, I'll get elected, I'll serve, and we won't even be discussing these issues. We'll be discussing your issues. You're not going to be have to worry about my conduct. I'll conduct myself in a way you can be proud of. I'll conduct myself in a way you can tell your kids, you know, that's somebody that you should emulate, and we will have success as a result of that.
Former president, you have said that you believe his indictments have distorted the primary. Do you think that he's leading in this race because of his indictments?
So look, I mean, you know, there's things that happen when you're running. There's things you can control. You know, I can control how I answer your questions. I can control how hard I'm going to work. Like I've chosen to do the 99 counties. Other candidates haven't. There's other things you can't control. How these things happen, how they're played in the media, all this other stuff. Clearly, it's had an impact. But what I would tell primary voters is whatever may be beneficial in the primary doesn't mean it's beneficial in the general election. And I think a
Well, you got to get to the general first, nigga. It's like 2016. I don't know if it was Rand Paul or Ted Cruz. And then he's like, well, I'm beating Hillary in the polls and you're not. And then Trump's like, well, Ted, if you can't beat me, you're going to have a hell of a hard time beating Hillary. And it's like the same thing here.
2024 election where the Democrats get to run against a candidate that is going through all this stuff, that is going to give the Democrats an advantage. Don't have to agree with any of the stuff that was done. That's just the reality. And we end up in a situation where we're putting the future of the Republican Party and the future of the nation, perhaps, in the hands of 12 jurors in heavily Democrat D.C., which is likely to be a very stacked left-wing jury, that if they somehow convict, then the Democrats are going to win the election. Why do we want to even go down that road? Let's focus on your issues. Let's focus on Biden's failures. Let's focus on how we're going to be able to turn this country around. I'll be somebody that's focused on that. But then even more importantly, as president, I'll be disciplined and determined to deliver on all those things. It's not going to be about me. Heck, when I'm not out there doing the job, I've got young kids. My wife and I will be back home. You know, we'll be doing stuff, raising our family. That's going to be the extent of what we're doing. We are going to be laser focused on your issues.
Governor, stick around. We have many more voters' questions for you. We'll be right back.
A commercial? Now, wait a minute. This town hall has been dog shit, not because Ron's doing a bad job. It's just like really boring.
Presidential town hall with Governor Desantis.
This is part of the process, though. Political nerds need to watch this shit. We got to just stand through it. It's like the commercials during a football game. We got to just stay in here and maybe something fun will happen.
Governor, you talk about your family a lot when you're on the campaign trail. You often see your wife, Casey DeSantis, your children with you. I want to ask you about a loss that you experienced in your life with your sister, your family. In 2015, your younger sister, Christina, died suddenly from a pulmonary embolism. I know she was 30 years old. She was about to get married. How did that loss change you?
His sister died? What the fuck? Monkey Man says, watching liars lie all day. I mean, it's not even the lying. Lying's kind of cool. Bill Clinton lies a lot, but at least he's like funny. This fucker is terrible.
Well, look, I mean, you know, when you go through having somebody that's in your immediate family, I mean, that's the loss that I think hits you the most. And part of it was just how sudden it was. You know, she was living a great life. I mean, she was having fun, and then she got checked into the hospital. She seemed to be stable, and then a couple days later did that. So, you know, one, I think about all the things we've done since then. You know, she would have been a great aunt to her to her nieces and nephews. I would have liked for them to have been able to get to know her. She obviously would have done a lot of great things with her life. You know, she would have been potentially involved in some of the things we've been doing. But what it shows you is don't take anything for granted. You just never know what's going to happen. And so if there's ever a time when you feel you need to do something, you know, don't just sit back on the sidelines. You go in and you do, because you never know what chances you're going to have in the future. So don't take it for granted. Tell your people close to you that you love them, and just try to live your best life every single day. And understand ultimately every day is a gift from God.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that probably resonates with a lot of people here, Governor. We also have more voter questions.
Oh, that was so bad. I was actually like, oh, wow, is he going to like show emotion? He just never did. That's awkward. It's like, hey, by the way, your sister died at 30, like, you know, like week to week, she died all of a sudden. a lot of people would cry, and I think a lot of people would actually enjoy it and find it tasteful and like appropriate for him to do that. But instead, he's like, well, you gotta just live your best life. I'm like, nigga, really? Motherfucker said YOLO.
Questions with us tonight. I want to now get to Bob Peters, who is a retired small business owner from Ankeny. He's a Republican who says he is leaning towards supporting Nikki Haley. What's your question for the governor?
Thank you for being here, Governor.
Another Nikki
we
Haley,
have
bro.
seen many instances of poor choices from the current administration, such as the before mentioned border policies, the botched withdrawal
If a guy says before mentioned, boom, what the fuck is that?
from Afghanistan, with no effort to correct those poor choices. Even well-intended plans can fail sometimes. Can you give me an example where, as governor, you implemented a plan that did fail and how you corrected that?
Sure. I think if you look back what happened with COVID, I mean, the large story is Donald Trump and his country.
I don't fucking care about that shit.
Elderly people, but shouldn't we be giving them the decision making about having family visitation and all this stuff? Are we as the government going to make that decision for them? So I made the decision. I think we were the first state in the country to say, you know what? Let them make these decisions about this, because there is more to life than just one virus. The human connection that people long for.
We have a question. What's worse, DeSantis, Haley, or monolithic ethos? Okay. I think DeSantis is the worst because he's the most boring. Nikki Haley you can kind of hate, and she's mildly attractive. Monolithic ethos, again, same thing. Lol cow. So I think DeSantis is objectively the worst.
And I had a lady named Mary Daniel from Jacksonville, Florida. And so in those initial weeks, she wasn't able to go and visit her husband, who was in a memory care facility. So she decided to apply to get a job to work in the facility so that she could have interaction with him. And so she came and talked about her story. She talked about how, while people were very concerned about the virus's effect on elderly people, that we had to figure out a way to do it. So you know what? That really touched me. And so we did it. And we made the change. And I think that was a good change. And we ended up doing, and not that we never restricted hospitals, but the hospitals throughout this country were denying visitation for people. These end-of-life moments you're having to spend on a FaceTime or on an iPad instead of having your loved ones there, that was overkill. And that left, these are tough issues anyways, but you have a little bit of sense of closure if you're there and you can say goodbye, if you can hug your loved one more time, if you can do those things that require that human connection. And that was taken away from so many people. So we did legislation in Florida called No Patient Left Alone Act. You have a right to have your family members present with you when you're in the hospital, particularly when you're in those sensitive end-of-life situations. That's the right thing to do, and we made sure that we were looking at the whole picture and making sure that we had this very important human interaction respected and protected.
That question about being governor, being on the job, whether or not you make mistakes while you're on the job. There's another governor in this race, Chris Christie. He recently said something about a mistake that he believes he made while he was governor of New Jersey. He says that was on gay marriage, that he was wrong. He admits it, and he says that true leaders admit that when they are wrong. You have previously said that the definition of marriage is exclusively between a man and a woman.
Bruh.
I'm curious, is that still how you feel today?
So that's just what marriage is with the church.
Hold on. Is he going to say something cool here? Come on, please.
And I respect the Supreme Court's decision. We've abided by that in Florida, even though our Constitution defines it as between a man and a woman. But I think what we need to recognize is, you are going to have people try to wield power against our religious institutions and try to marginalize them simply by upholding the biblical definition of marriage. And so I'm going to protect those religious institutions to be able to do what has always been done in terms of how they consider marriage as a sacrament. So in terms of the church, that's just what it is. Now, in terms of the Supreme Court's decision with civil law, the state, we had a different policy. This was before I was governor. And so the state of Florida has respected that.
We've got another voter here with us, Governor, tonight.
Okay, honestly, that's not a bad answer, because think about it. The gay marriage thing died almost 10 years ago. Like, the Republicans gave up on that 2015, 2016. And so he's saying the church has this one policy, which it's very obvious he's implying that he agrees that it's, that being gay is wrong, because he's like saying, well, that's what the church is. And he doesn't cast anything negative about the church. And then he also criticizes the government by imposing this sort of like gay civil law thing attributed by the Supreme Court on the Floridian state law in such a way to where I respect it. He respects it, yeah, like acquiescently, like, okay, fine. He's conceding ground, but he is like anti-gay if you were to actually put a gun to his head. And so that is actually a good answer, all things considered. So you're really just talking around it. You're saying like, okay, I mean, I tolerate it, but I don't like it. Which, okay, fair enough. You can't really politically say you're anti-homosexual gay marriage. So that's a good answer, actually.
This is Trey Wellman, a student at Iowa State University from Ames who grew up on a family farm. He is the vice chair of the Iowa Federation of College Republicans. He says he's undecided. He's not going to bring up Alabama football. Go ahead, Trey.
So growing up on a family farm and studying agriculture and rural policy at Iowa State, this is something that we've talked an awful lot about. For many years, rural areas have been declining.
President of Iowa State College Republicans. This could literally be me next year in the fucking town halls for Arizona. That's crazy.
Population, which can lead to poverty, limited opportunity, and higher prices. What do you think are the reasons for this, and what will you do as president?
Wait, he's only vice chair? That could be literally me. This could be me. Oh my God, this literally could be me, but with a better hairline and not fucking stuttering and not with a double chin. Okay. Let's fucking go.
build up rural communities and their populations.
And you said you're Iowa State?
Iowa State, yes,
Okay.
sir.
I was at the game this year. It was a tough one. But you have a lot of Florida high school players on the roster, so I appreciate it. And of course, the governor here is an Iowa State grad, so I didn't say anything cross about
We're
Iowa
proud.
State. My son, incidentally, so you all in Iowa have this Machine Shed restaurant. My wife and I, we do like Cracker Barrel with the kids. We were going to do that. And I was like, we got to try Machine Shed. My son's 5 years old. He's like a sports nut. He got a checkered board modeled after the Iowa State football field. So he now loves Iowa State because he has that checkerboard. And then he also has gotten to see the Iowa Stadium, and we were actually watching the Iowa game with some supporters in Ankeny over the weekend, and so they got him a nice Iowa shirt. He's got Iowa socks and everything. I was on the campaign trail with him the morning of the Iowa-Michigan Big Ten game. And I didn't rehearse this with him. He came up on the stage with me. I have the microphone, and I said, hey, buddy, who's going to win Iowa versus Michigan? And I'm moving the mic down to him, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, my gosh, if this kid says Michigan, he's going to get booed here in Iowa at 5 years old. He was so clutch. He's like, Iowa. So he was really excited about that. Now, to get to your question. Rural communities.
Was that a
are
real
part of the
human being
backbone
moment by
of America.
DeSantis?
And I've been able to see that firsthand traveling to all 99 counties in Iowa. I've also been able to see it in my home state of Florida. I mean, some people that aren't from Florida, you think South Beach, or you think the attractions in Orlando, or you think if you're in the Midwest, a lot of these places themselves are great areas. But we have a lot of rural counties in our state. I was the first governor to do public events in all 67 Florida counties. There were people that had never seen a governor before in some of our rural counties. We've worked to do rural broadband infrastructure, things that are really, really significant. So a couple things. One, I understand the importance of agriculture for our country. It's not just an economic issue. Food security is a national security issue.
Provo Planet says, why is the speed level set at autism? Because trying to listen to DeSantis on 1X, I cannot do it. I cannot. No. If you tell me to watch this on 1X, I have to be asleep. Like, literally go like, the Big Ten Iowa State football. Okay.
I think we're more secure and better when we have family farms that are viable and that can pass that down from generation to generation. I don't want everything to be massive corporations. We need to eliminate the death tax on these
That's the DeSantis peak with the charisma. Yeah, it's like about as good as it ever got.
family farms so that they can pass it down without getting taxed. Run amok. Like they say, in Iowa, you had to go to the Supreme Court. There's a puddle on your property, and that's waters of the United States. EPA can come in and have federal jurisdiction. No way. That is not right. But that use of bureaucracy benefits the entrenched big companies at the expense of the smaller companies. So I think part of the answer for rural America is small business and the emphasis on that. And I think that's the backbone of whether our economy is going to succeed or not.
I don't know,
you got
man.
these guys on Wall Street, Silicon Valley.
I can't wait for
that's
Nikki
fine,
Haley.
but we
Mommy,
don't have those
please,
small
Nemrata.
DeSantis.
Governor DeSantis, thank you for being
Who the
here.
fuck is this?
I would like to hear you answer this question in a spirit of
Hospice chaplain? Okay.
civility and humility. If you become president, what is one aspect of President Biden's leadership
He's got to be the gayest chaplain ever.
that you would hope to emulate?
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Look, we've got a myriad of policy differences, and I think the results have been very, very poor. So I think on the policy, you're going to see differences. I'll tell you this though. We had a hurricane hit, Category 5 hurricane.
Nobody
Ian
gives a
in Southwest
fuck.
Florida. Some of you know because some of you have been down.
Wait, what is one aspect of President Biden's leadership you would like to emulate? Bruh. That's such a hard one. I would say his ability to take naps throughout the day. I could really use that. Say that, something catchy. I don't know. Maybe sniffing children. I don't know. Maybe I haven't done that. Hey, I don't know. Running up the debt, cucking to Israel, cucking to Black Lives Matter, cucking to Palestine on certain issues. I don't fucking know.
There, and it devastated Southwest Florida. It knocked out a bridge to Pine Island. It knocked out the causeway going to
Jawmogger, who me?
Sanibel. We had millions and millions
Or
of people
the
without power.
Chad Ryan chaplain.
Now, we had a great response. We had everyone lined up. Quickest power restoration in history, search and rescue, all these things. Democrat in the White House with the media who would love to do it. He could have tried to politicize it. I'll give him credit. He didn't try to politicize it. I think when you have situations where there's national tragedies or disasters, trying to politicize it doesn't work. You got to put the people first. And I'll notice with respect to the media, the national media, they were down there. They wanted to make it an issue politically. I mean, I was running for re-election. That's what they wanted to do. When they're asking and people are saying, oh my gosh, they had all these rescues. All the power went on in record time. We even rebuilt the bridge to Pine Island. People said it was going to take 6 months. We took control of it at the state level. We rebuilt it in 3 days. Once the media saw that things were going well and that people were appreciative of the response, you couldn't find national media outlets in Florida if you had a search warrant. They did not have a story. Their story was to try to create
That's so
conflict,
fucking awesome.
and try to demean the response. So that's just the reality. But I will say this, the White House under Biden, they worked with us to put the people first. And as president, when we have these national disasters, I don't care if it's a Republican governor like Kim Reynolds, who I'm very close with, or a liberal governor like Newsom, who I've got some differences with.
Shout out
When you have these
Newsom.
situations,
Shout out
leaders got to
Newsom.
lead, and you got to put politics aside.
I think we're always happy when disaster responses go well, Governor. We've got another voter here, Deanna Bozen. She's a
Fucking hate this
psychiatrist from
bitch.
West Des Moines, a Republican who says that she is undecided in this race. What is your question for the governor, Deanna?
Bunch of weak
Governor
tards.
DeSantis.
We're the conservative, not skinheads, but an octave below that. We're the hardcore right wing. DeSantis, why are you gay? Where is that? You have a bunch of 60-year-old white people I'm a Nikki Haley voter that hates January 6th. And that was what, 3 years ago? Who cares?
I have a question for you on mental health. Lack of adequate health insurance, which covers diagnosis and treatment of mental health disorders, is a significant problem for millions of Americans. What are your plans for addressing this issue at the federal level?
Well, thank you, Deanna. I think this is a huge issue. And this is an issue that in every corner of Iowa, people are asking about. I mean, this is not just something where a few people are talking about it, because we've seen this issue all across the country. We're going to do a couple things. One, we're going to support efforts like we did in Florida to provide more mental health resources in our schools. You know, sometimes there's a stigma about seeking help. My wife, the First Lady of Florida, has launched a program to focus it more on resiliency. And it's something that athletes, famous people have done.
Health insurance. Oh my God, for mental disorders, bruh. Now they're trying to fix the BPD codes before I can get to them first, man. This is fucking bullshit.
This portal, they say that this veteran's having a tough time. Maybe they just go to his.
Okay.
This is Tamara Thomas, a mother and grandmother
3 more
of Deer,
minutes.
Iowa, a Republican who is also undecided in this race. Tamara, what's your question for the governor?
What do you think is your biggest strength that you have if you're voted to be our next president?
Is it Tamara?
Tamara, you got it.
Tamara. Okay, well, thank you for the question. Van Meter, Iowa, interesting. As a young kid who liked baseball, one day in Dunedin, Florida, where I grew up, there was a famous guy from Van Meter that was there signing autographs named Bob Feller, one of the fastest pitchers ever. But, you know, when World War II, it had interrupted his career. Most of these ball players were part of, like, entertaining. They could just play ball and entertain the troops. Bob Feller said, nope, I'm going to war. So he served in combat and served with distinction. Great American, and Van Meter should be proud of Bob Feller. Look, I think that
That is an anecdote that he pulled out of his ass to try to impress these, like, local Iowans. That, like, what an obscure reference. Like, imagine pulling up to Arizona and being like, oh, do you know Pat Tillman, who played safety for the Arizona Cardinals in 2001? I mean, that's, like, even more obscure than that. You know, this obscure baseball player from, like, 80 years ago, he's a great American. Nigga, you weren't even around then, buddy. That's like 40 years before you were born talking about that. Come on, eh? Jesus.
my strength
Shameless.
is that if I tell you I'm going to do something, I don't just say that flippantly. I'm not just saying it to win an election. There are things I could
You
do
literally
promising that
are.
would probably get me some more votes that I know I couldn't deliver on. So if I tell you I'm going to do
Then
something,
do what you
take it
need
to the bank,
to
we're gonna deliver
lie.
on it. I'm the only one
I
running
could get
for
more votes if I lied. You need to. Dude, you're down 50%.
president that has delivered on 100% of my promises. In fact, I over-delivered on what I promised. How often have you elected somebody president that has over-delivered on their promises? Not very often. And I'll fight for you. All the people that are causing these problems, I'm the only one running that have beaten these people, whether it's the teachers union with school choice, whether it's beating Fauci on COVID, whether it's beating people like Soros on crime, whether it's beating the Democrats ensuring election integrity, while it's beating the left and banning China. Plan on issue after issue, I've delivered results. Leadership is not about entertainment. Leadership is not about showmanship. Leadership is about articulating a vision, implementing that vision.
A lot of that you believe if Donald Trump does not win Iowa, that he'll say the caucuses were stolen. What if Republican voters
That's not
believe
going to
him?
happen.
Well, no, they're not. I think Iowans know that this is an important process. I think Iowans know there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's going to be done very well. You've got a great state party. You've got a lot of great people. And you just have
Sure.
honest people here. You know, this is, you know, I've been traveling around all 99 counties. People say all the problems in the country. You know, how are we going to be able to do it? There's a lot of pessimism out there. I can tell you this, meeting Iowans in every corner of this state, I see people that are patriotic, hardworking, God-fearing. This is
Cool.
the backbone of this country, and this
Cool.
is the formula to be able to reverse the decline of this country. We can do it. Decline is a choice. We have it within our power to take this country in a different direction and to make sure that we are not the first generation of Americans to turn over to our kids and grandkids an America less prosperous and less free than the one we inherited. I'm not going
Cool.
to sit idly by and watch the managed decline of the United States of America.
Thank you, Governor DeSantis. Thank you to all the voters.
Oh, amazing.
Stay right here because coming up next on this stage, Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley for her
Oh,
town hall.
thank fucking God. Okay, we're done with that.
All right.
You watched a 54-minute town hall in 42 minutes. Okay, there you go, folks. I'm a legend. You're welcome. All right, let's get to the Nikki Haley one. Hold on, which one's first? This one. Okay.
On the
I couldn't find the full one, and maybe that's for the best. But basically, we're trying to watch like 10 minutes worth of this.
voters here. And of course, with 11 days to go, one of the big ones is actually the state of this race and where things are. Josh Lemon is a portfolio manager. I know at a local bank, Josh. You're an independent and you voted for Joe Biden in 2020, but you've said you plan to vote for a GOP candidate this time around. And as I was telling everybody watching at home, you're allowed to register right up until caucus night, right? So that's the way it works here in this state. So you're deciding between Governor Haley and Governor DeSantis. Go ahead.
Correct. And thanks for taking my question.
Thank you.
Norman
What
Bates
is your
looking ass.
strategy to overtake Donald Trump in the polls?
You know, I think that what you're seeing is we've got momentum. We've got momentum in Iowa. We've got momentum in New Hampshire. You're going to continue to see us be strong in South Carolina. And really what it's been is it's been about, let's talk about where this is. I personally think President Trump was the right president at the right time. I agree with a lot of his policies. But the reality is, rightly or wrongly, chaos follows him. And we all know that's true. Chaos follows him. And we can't have a country in disarray and a world.
This is the most feminine answer possible when you think about it. There's not absent morality. There's chaos, and I don't like chaos. I want stability. Like absent your life situations, you're broke. Fuck you. I'm going with the rich guy. That's literally what she's saying.
On fire and go through
And
4
she's
more
right, I
years of
guess.
chaos. We won't survive it. And you don't defeat Democrat chaos with Republican chaos. Now is the time we need to have a new generational leader, one that's going to leave the negativity and the baggage behind and start focusing on the real issues that we have in the future. But more than that, Americans don't want another nail biter of an election. And that's what we'll get. Look at any of the polls, head to head against Joe Biden. Ron doesn't beat Biden. Trump, head to head with Biden. On a good day, he might be up by 2. The Wall Street Journal had him up by 4. I'm in every one of those same polls. I defeat Biden by 17 points.
Dude, that is bullshit. There's no way that's true. There is literally no way that's true. There is no fucking way she would beat Biden by 17. It just literally does not work that way. Joe Biden would have to go on the record and be like, the sniffing children is just the beginning, and then show a clip of much worse. That's literally what he would have to do. There is no fucking way he could shit himself and have like skit marks on the ground or something. Like even like no, there is no way Nikki Haley would beat him by 17. That is like not even fathomable. Not even close. Like we're talking about a Nixon 1972 landslide or some shit. Even worse than that. I mean, you're just retarded. There's no way.
17 points. That makes it bigger than the presidency. That's governorships, that's House, that's Senate, that's down to school boards. But more than that, you win by double digits. You're going into D.C. with a mandate to stop all the wasteful spending and get inflation under control, a mandate to get our kids reading again and take education back to the basics, a mandate to secure our border, no more excuses, a mandate to bring law and order back to our country, and a mandate of a strong America that we can be proud of. That's what we're doing. That's what I think we need to do. It is time to move past President Trump, and it is time to start focusing on how to strengthen America and do this for our kids and our grandkids.
There was one thing you said there, and I know you've talked about him being, the chaos following him, but you did say something there I wanted to follow up on as people face this decision. You said rightly or wrongly, chaos follows him. Is it rightly or wrongly? Is he the one who causes that chaos, or is he just the unwitting victim?
It's both. I mean, you see a lot of these cases they've brought against him are political in nature, and there's no basis on it. And then you see some that he's going to have to answer for. But look, I'm not telling you anything I used to tell him. I used to tell him he's his own worst enemy. And so I think at the end of the day, we don't need anyone who's getting in their feelings. We don't need anyone that's getting personal about anything. We have a country to save. And that means no more drama, no more taking things personally. I mean, you look at the situation, the differences I have with him is, first of all, I'm an accountant. We have got to get our economy back on track. And everybody wants to talk about the economy they had under Trump. But at what cost? At what cost? $8 trillion
She's really nice
in
hair.
4 years. Our kids will never forgive us for that. We are having to dig out of it. So you may have had a good 4 years, but look at what we're paying for now. As of now, in a couple of years, we'll be paying more money in interest payments than we are in our defense budget. You know who notices that? Russia, China, and Iran. That's what happens there. The second thing is you look at how he deals with dictators. I think it's completely wrong. He praised China's President Xi a dozen times after China gave us COVID. You don't do that. He congratulates.
Okay, Nikki Haley is way better than Ron DeSantis at being accusatory. When Ron DeSantis is accusatory and or nagging of Trump, he does it from a faux masculine frame. He goes and he says, well, you did this, and his voice peaks when he accuses people because he has no confidence in what he's saying. That's how he talks. I'm exaggerating, but that's basically it. Nikki Haley nags like a bitch because she is one, but she's good at it.
Them on the 70th anniversary of the Communist Party. We don't do that. When Israel fell to her knees, you're going to go pick a fight with Israel's prime minister because of some issue, personal issue you had with him before, and you're going to praise Hezbollah? It's just not what we need to do. We need to do this without emotion. We need to do this with a sane sense of how we're going to take America.
Okay, I mean, that's way better. That's not my cup of tea, but you can see why somebody would like that, actually. All right, last clip for her.
Chris Christie, though, came out and said that you gave that answer not because you're, in his words, dumb or racist, but because you're, quote, unwilling to offend anyone by telling the truth. What do you say to that?
No one's ever said that I am unwilling to offend. I offend plenty of people because I call people out when they do something wrong. What I will tell you is Chris Christie is from New Jersey. I should have said slavery right off the bat. But if you grow up in South Carolina, literally in second and third grade, you learn about slavery. You grow up and you have, I had black friends growing up. It is a very talked about thing. We have a big history in South Carolina when it comes to, slavery, when it comes to all the things that happened with the Civil War, all that. I was thinking past slavery and talking about the lesson that we would learn going forward. I shouldn't have done that. I should have said slavery, but in my mind, that's a given, that everybody associates the Civil War with slavery.
So when you talk about slavery being a constant point of discussion, being a point in where you go, my children growing up in New York, they learn about slavery in first grade too. Can you share what the discussions about slavery were like? In your household, you've talked about experiencing humiliating discrimination when you were a little girl, things you remember. What were the
Okay, your immigrant Indian family 40 years ago, what were the conversations about black slavery in 1854 like? Nigga, what?
discussions about slavery like for you?
I mean, I think that no different than anyone else in South Carolina. I mean, we had the time that I came and grew up, we were the only Indian family in a small rural southern town.
I get it.
We weren't white enough to be white. We weren't black enough to be black. They didn't know who we were, what we were, or why we were there. Mom would always say, your job is not to show them
Who fucking cares
that
about
was
mom?
talked about. It was more about, we had friends, we had black friends, we had white friends, but it was always a topic of conversation, even among our friends. And in the South, we're very comfortable talking about it because we know that's what it is. But the goal was always to make today better than yesterday. And even though that there was, a lot of hardened thoughts on that there, I mean, we went through it. I dealt with my share of dealing with race issues. We had the tragic shooting of Walter Scott. He was an unarmed black man that was shot in the back 7 times by a dirty cop. And this was on the heels of Ferguson. South Carolina could have caught on fire, but we didn't do that. I talked to the Walter Scott family. I talked to law enforcement, and a month to the day,
Solar says
at
he's
the
back.
bill
Okay,
signing,
what's
we
up?
had them both there, and we signed the first body camera bill in the country. A month later, we had the horrific shooting at Mother Emanuel Church when a white supremacist went into a Bible
Airhead Haley. I think she's decent. Actually, I can see why people like her. I'm kind of. Let's go.
study and took 9 amazing souls.
In 2020, in the primary for the Democrats, there was the whole Mommy Klobuchar thing, but this is definitely it. This is it. This is it right here. This is it. This is Mommy Nikki Haley.
The entire national media came in wanting to make it about gun control and racism and death penalty. And I said at the time, there will be a time and place we have those conversations, but right now we have 9 souls we need to lay to rest.
See, he's doing okay. Nikki Haley's doing a better job where she's trying to be this woman who empathizes with the black people and trying to assuage them from not blowing up the city with fucking riots like Ferguson, huh? And so the idea is that she does that efficiently. Whereas with Desantis, he would be all logical and neurotic about it, and he'd be like, "Well, actually," and that wouldn't be as effective. So I see how she's somewhat Machiavellian, but also has the woman tendencies to be soft and supple, and that actually works to her benefit politically, and I can respect that.
And I didn't have that luxury because 2 days later, the killer came out with his manifesto, and he was draped in the Confederate flag. And the Confederate flag had always been, and I focus on what this is about because 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate.
Okay, who cares?
Have protests. We had vigils. We didn't have riots. We had prayer. And South Carolina led the way, but that is the way we have to. Doesn't decide who's right. When you serve the people, you serve everybody. And your job is to give them all the information you have and let them know where you want to go going forward.
Okay. So there's something about her in slavery. We got to see this shit.
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause of the Civil War was? I'm sorry?
I'm not running for president. I wanted to see your
That's a good thing.
on the cause of the Civil War.
I mean, I think it always comes down to the role of government and what the rights of the people are. And I will always stand by the fact that I think government was intended to secure the rights and freedoms of the people. It was never meant to be all things to all people. Government doesn't need to tell you how to live your life. They don't need to tell you what you can and can't do. They don't need to be a part of your life. They need to make sure that you have freedom. We need to have capitalism. We need to have economic freedom. We need to make sure that we do all things so that individuals have the liberties so that they can have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do or be anything they want to be without government getting in the way.
Thank you. And in the year 2023, it's astonishing to me that you answer that question without mentioning the word slavery.
What do you want me to say about slavery?
No, you've answered my question. Thank you.
Next question.
So first of all, what a homo. It's astonishing in 2023 how you can't even say it without saying the word slavery. You're such a bitch. You're serving cunt right now, and honestly, it's giving racism. It's giving homophobia. It's bro, shut the fuck up. Honestly, that was a base answer by Nikki. You know what? Nikki coined up. When you get asked about the Civil War, you give a nuanced answer about economic policy and the dynamic between government and the citizen, and state versus government federally. And that's actually smart. I like that. That's somewhat true. Obviously, that had to do with the Civil War, and slavery is kind of obvious. It's if somebody asked you, what's the worst thing Hitler did? There's a very obvious, multi-million person affair that was, really bad. But if I were to answer something else, well, actually, I think the You know, the bombing of Rotterdam in 1940 was pretty bad, or I think the invasion of Norway was pretty unethical. They'd be like, well, but you didn't mention the Holocaust. It's like, okay, look, sure, but I'm just trying not to be Captain Obvious, okay? I'm trying to answer with something that isn't so clear, yeah? But no, God forbid, you have to go by the numbers. Fuck you, people. Paint the town red. I don't give a fuck. Let's go. Maggie Thatcher vibes to Solar, yeah. Solar says, what do you think the Civil War was about? Goofy ass bitch thinks it's a Socratic discussion. What? Queen Nikki. I love Nikki Haley. I will. Oh my goodness. Okay. So okay. So she apologizes somewhat. Van Jones seething about Nikki Haley. Good. If he's mad, then I'm happy. Okay, let's see this. Let's see how CNN tries to spin this. I'm very curious.
It's our special 2-hour coverage of tonight's CNN Republican presidential town halls with Ron Desantis and Nikki Haley. It continues now. I'm Laura Coates in Washington, D.C.
And I'm Abby Phillip in New York. Iowa Republicans are set to vote in just 10 days. And yes, that's how fast it's all moving right now. And tonight, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley facing some tough questions from those very voters.
Questions on hot button issues like the border, the economy, the war in Ukraine.
Hurry up.
Just delivered one of the best performances I've seen him give in the entire campaign. I think he's really improved over the last several weeks, made no mistakes. It was center-cut conservative content on immigration. And
oh my God, this guy's such an idiot. The only way him keeping the same vibe of like, oh, I'm the straight guy, I'm a square, I'm like this, that only works if Trump dies or something. So unless he's literally running a campaign, working 16-hour days, putting millions of dollars on the line, ruining his political future, for like the 5% chance that Trump has a stroke or gets arrested or some shit, then he's just a fucking idiot, huh?
Other issues. So I thought he had an incredibly strong night. I think on Nikki Haley, where she...
Scott Jennings, former special assistant to President George W. Bush. Okay, well, that kind of completely explains the position he has.
Always shines head and shoulders above everyone, in my opinion, is on foreign policy. She knocked that topic out of the park. I think for people who have been arguing that they're not hitting Donald Trump hard enough, they put that to bed tonight because I thought both DeSantis and Haley came and whacked Donald Trump pretty hard on a number of topics. What I was most surprised at was that they didn't really whack each other.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, DeSantis in particular, it was like, where's this guy been? Usually he's cold toward the audience and kind of warm toward Donald Trump in this weird way. It was reversed this time. He was warm.
Okay, hold on. And I don't know if this is like a weird question, but how the fuck are his lips so pink in the inside, but then so black on the outside? Like, does he? Wait, this is so gross. Wait a minute. If his lips are supposed to be black, but the very interior of the bottom lip is pink, does that mean that he bites his lip and he's like peeling the black skin off? That's so fucking gross, man.
And he was cold-blooded going.
See, like the black chick has a more smooth, like this one on the right, this girl here has a more smooth color, writ large. But Van has like a chappy, like he's anxious. He's scared about talking about Trump. Trump is rent-free in this guy's head.
After Donald Trump. I'm like, where's this guy been? If this guy has been around.
Yeah, he's zesty.
For the past couple of months, he might have done something different. I thought he was. I could not understand why anybody thought that the Ron DeSantis.
Don't go on TV with those lips, dog.
Jesus Christ. These debates would have ever been anything. Tonight, you understand what the potential was, though I think it's largely been wasted. And Nikki,
fuck this guy, man.
Haley was Nikki Haley. She's always great.
Listen, Nikki Haley is generally always the smartest person in the room, save for CNN's Erin Burnett, who was there with her. She has a command of the facts.
Ooh, this girl's hot. Look at her eyes.
Is able to work her biographical experience to show her leadership. When I was at the UN, I was in Gaza. When I was governor, I did X, Y, and Z. She shows that she looks presidential when she talks about serious policy. No, I would say performance-wise, it probably wasn't her strongest night, but she always wins on the substance. And Ukraine is going to be a very key issue in this GOP primary. There's a very definitive split. Donald Trump will not continue aid to Ukraine. He is not going to give aid.
Former Trump White House communications director. She's really good.
Zelensky's government. Ron DeSantis gave kind of a vague answer when Caitlin pushed him on it. Nikki Haley was very definitive. She will continue to support Ukraine. On DeSantis, I think it was probably one of his strongest performances. He really honed in on an argument that I think will resonate with voters against Donald Trump, which is to say he made these promises for 4 years and didn't do them. What I say you could take to the bank and I will do. People will listen to that and I think it'll break through.
Yeah,
no, it fucking won't.
One thing that I think is clear is that
none of these people are pro-Trump. You have a George Bush appointee on the left, Van Jones, who's an A-log, the black chick in the center, who obviously is liberal. At least I think I don't know. I think she's like the anchor for the segment. The white chick, who's really attractive, she is like a former Trump person, probably got fired by him, so she doesn't like him. David Axelrod, who's looking pretty fucking dysgenic, is obviously an Obama guy.
Campaigning in 99 counties and from morning till night does have an effect. And I think what you saw in DeSantis is growth as a performer. He was not a good performer at the beginning of the campaign, much better tonight. And if there are late deciding caucus attendees in Iowa, this is a timely time for it. I don't know, when you said he was cold-blooded.
What basic bitch commentary? You're like 70 years old. You have had 50 years to consider like as an adult. What are political things to say? He's not Roger Stone. This guy doesn't have shit. He's like, oh, I think he's better than he was before. And what a good time to get good in the campaign right before the election happens in Iowa. I think a fucking 15-year-old could figure that out. Really?
in going after Trump. He was cool-blooded, I think. There were some topics that he would not address, nor would Haley, for that matter. But and she was, as we've come to expect. I mean, she's very, very orderly in her presentation. She always has 3 or 4 points. This is what I would do: 1, 2, 3, 4, and it projects a kind of command that has helped her in the debates, and I think it helped her tonight. We'll get to some of the
So cold-blooded or cool-blooded? Hold on, let's play it. Let's roll the tape. Let's see
Beat
what
him
he
up on
said.
abortion, beat him up on immigration.
Fuck.
Go ahead, Van.
I was just saying, like, I was surprised. He basically called him a flip-flopper on abortion, said he was weak and ineffective on immigration. I was like, this was tough stuff. Now, to your point, he could have gone harder, but before he was hugging like a teddy bear every time.
My point is this: yes, he was on those issues. He's not of course, he's not pro-life. I mean, he took shots that he has never taken before, and it's clear that they recognize that they need to get some of these Trump-oriented voters to swing back his way in this race. My point is just, whenever he was asked about Trump's conduct relative to January 6th or some of the other issues that have gotten him into legal issues, he took a long way around and not
To
answer.
Dan's point, though, calling a fellow Republican not pro-life in Iowa, that's about the meanest thing you could say. I would expect the Trump campaign will respond to that very, very quickly.
He did, though, take the issue of January 6th. If you listen carefully to what he said about the strategic argument about why we should nominate someone other than Trump, he effectively said that January 6th is going to make it hard for the country to reelect Donald Trump as president. And so if you really wanted to parse it out, he went there on that topic. He didn't say it as blatantly as perhaps some people who care
He's
about it
literally
want him
sweeping
to,
it up
but
for
the argument
DeSantis
was
as
clear.
we speak.
The Democrats are going to wrap this around Donald Trump's neck, and it will prevent him from being president.
I thought it was interesting the way he did it, though. He said, you have this left-wing Democratic jury, 12 jurors, so he basically at once embraced the idea that Trump was being persecuted, and at the same time said, but this is a liability. When he was asked about a second Trump term, he said, well, you saw what happened in the midterm elections. We did terribly. It's going to be bad for Republicans. But he never said what the second term would be like in terms of the lives of the American people.
And on Nikki Haley, I mean, she actually went down the same road on Trump, basically saying he comes with all this baggage. He's too emotional. It's going to be too difficult for him to govern without coming with all this other stuff that's not so great. They're both working in the same lane here.
They are working in the same lane, and they're still towing a line. But I did think
Exactly. Trump is their daddy, and you cannot break a certain line. There's a certain line you don't cross, and you don't cross it. They are his bitch.
Interesting line from Nikki Haley was when she said, I used to tell Donald Trump, you are your own worst enemy, reminding people she was a presidential advisor to him as UN ambassador, somebody that he handpicked to be in that role and who did speak truth to him about his own actions or his shortcomings. I thought that was a powerful moment that will resonate with some folks. But again, there is a limit to how far either of these two are going to go in actually criticizing Donald Trump, and I think today was the furthest we've seen them go.
All right, let's listen to what you're just talking about there.
I personally think President Trump was the right president at the right time. I
saw
agree with
this.
and go through.
Right along. One of the interesting things, just getting back to DeSantis for a second, one of his, he said, we need a change agent, essentially. And I think they were almost those words. And you have to wonder whether people really look at these guys and say, yeah, he's a change agent, Trump isn't. He's trying to make a difficult argument, which is, I can deliver on the things that Trump promised. But honestly, if you did a poll and you asked people who is more likely to bring about change, DeSantis or Trump, my guess is Trump would win that going away because he's seen as a wrecking ball.
See, that's actually a good point. Anyway, yeah. So that was the content I was gonna react to. Yeah. So let me put myself full screen. We're about to wrap it up unless something crazy happens or somebody comes up with a good idea. So let's go ahead and just make myself the entitlement of the screen. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, folks. So in that summary, and mind you, we got through both town halls. You saw the majority of what had to be seen. And I gave you over an hour of content, and it was only like an hour of stuff, and a lot of it was boring, but I think that was pretty decent. So that's the summary. I think Nikki Haley did a way better job than DeSantis. DeSantis is doing a slightly better job than normal, but not by a crazy amount. And it is what it is, folks. I think the Monolithic Ethos guy messaged me back on YouTube, and so he's gonna see my channel. I linked it to him, so we'll see if that'll bring anything productive. And in regards to, let me think. Let me check my notes for anything in here. I was going to do a Chris Cuomo reaction on the Patrick McDavid podcast. That ship has sailed. That was in Mexico. Or before that. Okay. So, all right. I'll give you a minute for any last second chats or else I'm just going to end the stream. All right. So let's get that through. So 1 minute counter starting now. All right. I'll keep talking for now. We had a decent viewership. I think we averaged about 10. So I'm trying to keep up the consensus. We're at 15 now. Anyway, so I'm trying to keep up the numbers insofar as the amount of streams I'm doing as to then really be able to get through everything. And Zerka, you want to talk to me? Want to talk about Zerka? Let's see if there's any Zerka clips on YouTube. I would cover his Kick material, but it's extremely difficult to watch Kick because what people will do on Kick is have a 4-hour stream. And then if you want to rewind it, you have to click on the time bar. But because the time bar is this big and there's 4 hours, I want to rewind 30 seconds. What's 30 seconds of a 4-hour thing? It's like maybe like this much. And so it's very difficult to manage. Okay. Let's look at his clips real quick. So you have Zerka rizzing up girls on Monkey. I'll put this on the screen. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Calls Sneeko. Chokes a girl. Zerka rizzes up dismissive girl. 58 minutes. Jesus Christ. That's insane. Adam 22 rage quits. Okay. Let's just click his YouTube channel, or Zerka Crusader. So this is a guy who professionally has his balls in his mouth. All right. Questions on the occult. We don't care about this. More Scientology, numerology. Zerka reacts to Kanye. Yeah, I mean, this is just not good clips. I mean, okay, let's look up Zerka clips. Okay, John Zerka explained. Damn, dude, this is tough. Zerka versus Tiki Taka. We've seen this. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a drought for Zerka. I mean, he fell off. What the fuck can I say? Okay, Riz is up redhead. Let's look at this.
What's your name?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay, so do you have a problem with it?
Yeah,
And what would be the objection?
because I don't want to get
How do you know that?
because I know what I want, and it's not that.
You want, just say it.
I don't want you to be towards me. I just want a normal conversation.
This girl's obviously like 13 years old, completely flat chested, and he's like talking to her. It's fucking stupid. Although, the more you go live, the more your numbers will grow. Keep going live, even if that shit's just an hour. Yeah, well, thanks, Randy. That's what I meant. Okay. So as we all know, Zerka's just trying to riz up teenagers. I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. It's not funny. This girl's not attractive at all. Let's see what else we have in here. Bad little bitch is the riz clip thing.
Little.
Wait, that one sipping is so cute. Keep sipping. Wow, you look just mid enough to. What's her name?
Look, she has Dr. Pepper. Ooh, Dr. Pepper's busting, huh? He's calling us little when 19. Look, I got horchata.
All right,
You know
yo,
that is?
be honest. Would you guys both at the same time give me?
Brody, what?
Would you give
No.
me? Come on, why would you?
So these girls are probably like 14 or 15 on the internet, sipping their fucking gas station horchata. And he's over here holding the same microphone that I have as a 30-year-old. Imagine having my microphone, but at 30. Come on, man. So, like, just lack of production quality. He's saying, oh, why don't you suck my dick?
What do you mean no? Well, what's up with her? What's your problem?
We don't do what? Get at the same time. No, we don't do that. We're good girls.
Okay, well, one at a time.
We're good girls.
No,
What are you about?
that one in the pink. She wants to flirt. Don't.
We're both in the pink.
All right, but that one sipping. Oh, you're both on me right now. Don't be weird. Don't skip. That one smiling. She's like bonding with me. Let me have her.
I'm what?
You're bonding with me.
Huh?
I don't give a.
Calm down, girl. Calm down.
Is he
Don't get petty.
Listen, I'm a famous rich, and you guys got a heart. Well, I only want her now. But the other one's weird.
You're a famous what?
Rich.
A what?
Rich.
What the fuck is he doing? Okay, let's go towards the end, see if anything crazy happens.
Oh, look, I can see your. Turn.
Oh, buddy.
Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, you guys have Riz. You guys are nothing like Jill. Like Jill rizzes me by telling her mom she's a weird.
Like, okay, how do you expect the clips to go viral if you have to fucking censor every other word? I mean, it's just not good content. Let's look up more. Is there shorts? We can do this. All right. So if you look at this, there's several. Christian Virgin GF. Pokemon Eggs. Okay, these are old ones. Porn stars or something. Okay. Vietnamese cutie. Brazilian 18-year-old virgin. I mean, that's just clickbait. There's no way. ESOL girl. What does ESOL mean? Versus up Israeli Jewish girl. Versus up Twitch e-girl. Versus up 10 out of 10 ginger. 10 out of 10 on the street. John Zerka and Manuel Ferreira give dating advice. So, I mean, I just don't... I think the Zerka shit is played out, frankly. I don't know. I just remember him being cool like 6 months ago. I don't know what the fuck happened. Okay, let's look at this. Is rizzing up minors his ass going straight to jail if he's recording it? I think it's technically legal. Like if he just talks to them. Evidentially Fire says, do you think he is rich though? He said yesterday he makes 15 grand a stream. Maybe he's lying. Maybe, but he also spends a ton of money. Like when he was during the Fresh and Fit stuff, he would spend, you know, on the Fresh and Fit, he would spend every night like in a 5-star hotel, like even though and doing coke and shit. So like even if he makes a lot of money, he burns through all of it. Like he has less than $1 million. Okay, let's look up Zerka Fresh and Fit. This is like really the prime. This is where he peaked. 2 clips. Clips.
Mine. Ladies, give us your name, your age, what you do for a living, dating status, and if you want to, of course, we're going to start on couch actually with Miss Red here.
Awesome.
My name's Haley. I'm 24.
That's a whole name, Haley.
Who's that a hoe name?
But that's trailer trash. I'm not gonna lie. Byron, you agree? That's trailer trash.
Let her talk, man. Let her talk, bro.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. How old are you?
24.
24. Where are you from?
New Orleans.
Okay. Do you live here now or just visiting?
No, just visiting.
Okay. What do you do for work?
I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. Okay. Nice. W. Nice. What's your highest education level completed?
I graduated high school, but I'm a certified dental assistant too, so I did that.
Okay. And then what's your relationship status?
Taken.
Nice. How long have you been together?
3 years. I'm in college right now because I'm working on my counseling degree, so I can invent a new.
Destiny's in there.
Oh, is that?
What's your relationship status?
Single.
All right. Yeah. What about you?
My name is Katya. I'm from Russia.
She's so hot.
You talk about me?
Yeah. Wagner, what's up? That Wagner pussy.
That's my last name. So, and
what?
I don't know if YouTube fucks with that, Myra. Does YouTube fuck with this?
Oh, I love that. You look
Okay.
so handsome.
Are
Are you single?
All right, take both fronts.
All right, comrade. What's the rest? So it's Katya, how old are you?
I'm almost 30.
Oh, yeah. What up to that wall?
29.
Yeah, I'm still 29. I am enjoying the last months.
Decelerate. The wall is coming. You're 30. That means you've expired.
Oh gosh. I guess so. So I tried to
That's
take my
fine.
best for this month. For
Yeah,
this
it's
one more
fine.
month.
Hey, I'm still
Wait,
here.
she's
I'm
expired. What that makes you?
No, I'm still gonna fuck her. We're cool.
See, that's just cool. He needs to
your,
have
what-
good content. The thing with Zerka though is that it's one thing when you're like 28 and you're like with a bunch of millionaires and you're in Miami and there's like 100,000 people watching on YouTube and on Rumble. And when you're roasting bitches or talking about like sexuality, you're talking to like a 30-year-old OnlyFans model. You're talking to like 25-year-old grown women about like sex. And these girls are already whores, non-virgins. That's one thing. That's fine. That's cool. That's funny. But then nowadays he's like relegated to rizzing up a bunch of 15-year-olds on Omegle. And it's like, bruh. So I think it's just a difference, right? It's like, it's one thing if you're Brock Lesnar and you're beating up a bunch of 30-year-old men versus like if you're going into high schools and beating the shit out of teenagers.
What part of Russia are you from?
I love
I'm from Moscow, but originally I'm from south of Russia.
Okay.
So
what do
I'm
you do?
hot.
What do you do for work?
3 things. First of all, I'm a model. Second, I'm a fitness instructor. And the third part, I'm a dancer at 11.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew 11.
Okay. So when you say like, are you one of the? Because they have 2 different types of dancers. They got
a whore.
They got the strippers. Yeah. And then they have the girls that do
Black
the, like,
chick next to him is
I-
fucking
I
fine.
don't take off my top or bottom, whatever, nothing.
Oh, you're
but I do like
whore-like.
pole dancing. I do like, entertainment.
So are you whore or whore light?
So because 11 has those girls that like use the hoops. You know what I'm talking Yeah, about? like burlesque. Yeah. Almost. What's it called? Lyra dancer? So you're not a Lyra dancer?
I'm not sure what exactly, but no,
Okay,
I'm
never
dancing
mind
on the
then.
main stage. I do
What do you mean by
pole
stripper?
dancing.
Myron, what do you mean by stripper, bro? Who? At that club,
Okay,
in
whatever.
particular, they bring in. They don't just have like regular like dancers. They have also girls that like come in that specialize in like doing things with hoops and like.
The bigger the hole, the bigger the.
Oh.
Evidently Fire says 15. If you watch his kick for 4 hours, they're younger. I've seen kids of 10 get bullied by him and made to say racist things. Yeah, I think that's stupid. In fact, I have a YouTube video that has a couple thousand views from months ago where he was like making a 10-year-old girl do Nazi salutes and shit. And he actually reacted to the video on his kick stream several months ago. Randy Wanzer says, how the mighty have fallen. He went from rizzing up baddies to rizzing up babies. That's actually a good one.
Okay, so
I'm kind of in between.
So three different gigs. All right, and then what's your highest education level completed?
I'm a bachelor engineer from Russia.
What the fucking hell is this?
I know, I'm everywhere.
You got a skill set that could protect
Just
you
in
from
case,
being
I know everything,
So
everywhere.
you finished engineering, you said it's time to be a whore?
I mean, how many whores you know with a bachelor engineering?
Well, I don't know many engineer whores.
Okay, I'm the first one, puppy.
No, that's my girl.
Not really. So I'm officially married, like legally I'm married, but I'm separated with my husband recently.
Okay. Well, when did you get divorced?
I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I don't know.
Green
That's kind of
card
my
war.
Okay.
I know.
So y'all recently got divorced. Who initiated the divorce? You or him?
Actually, this is our second marriage with him, so we. Yeah, I
Wait,
know.
our?
I'm a joke.
Our?
Yeah, we've been married.
Deport the bitch, Myron.
We got divorced once, and then we get married again. So, and now I don't know.
Stupid. That's toxic, bro.
I think, yeah, it's toxic.
That is
as
so
fuck.
toxic.
You're so
Right.
stupid, man.
Okay.
Wow.
But I loved him, so that's
No, you didn't.
All right.
good.
What about you? What's your name?
Please save us.
My name is Gemma. I'm 23 years
Say,
old.
speak up a little bit. It's what?
My name is Gemma, and I'm 23 years old.
Okay. Where
I'm
you from?
Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
Australia.
accent.
In the Miami Swim Week shows.
Oh, okay,
I'm
cool.
an actor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what's your relationship status?
Single.
That's my girlfriend. Tell her.
No. That's
She
me.
knows.
So I'm 21 years old. I
Looks
do.
like a train.
So I really
Cute.
And then what's your relationship status?
Okay, these
I
two.
am
Okay,
single.
these two Eastern Europeans are fucking hideous. Okay, this white girl right here, the blonde one. You know, if you're drunk at a party, low lighting, you could be like, "Wow, like there's like some tall white blonde girl, and she's probably like a 7." But then when you're sober, you look and you're like, "This bitch looks like Vladimir Putin in cross dress." Like, bro, what? Then you have the babushka doll here, who's like 35 going on 65, and it's like tough.
No,
Okay,
what the
so
fuck?
she's confirmed this time. Now. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Did you
convenient.
not give me your phone number earlier? Were you not single?
I
took your
didn't.
phone.
I didn't remember you.
Oh. You know what? Let's go Zelensky.
Yo.
All right.
Okay. What about you?
What about you?
All right. I'm Stephanie, and I'm also from Australia. Gemma and I are here together. So
No more Russians on the panel, right?
yeah. No, we're
Okay, wait. I have a question. It says, "What do you think of Myron now?" I like Myron still. Now there is some shit. I watch Triologic streams, right? And this black chick, and she a-logs the fuck out of Myron, and she accuses him of being gay, and then she shows pictures of him like doing frat boy stuff, but then a little bit like even worse than that. And I'm like, I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt on the gay accusation because obviously that'd be really, really like Jesus, like what the fuck. So.
in
But I like
Australia
him
now.
otherwise.
Yeah, yeah, get with it. Okay, so I'm going to get burnt. I know because I'm going to say my age and he's going to tell me I'm
Her
youthful.
accent sucks.
Okay, yeah.
So,
'cause it's-
Stephanie, how old are you?
Oh, God. I'm probably the oldest one here, I reckon, 35.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
And are you from Sydney as well, you said?
I'm actually from Perth, WA. We're the
Perth.
furthest away, right
Okay.
down the end. Forgotten about the hairdressing
Are
field.
you,
as
are you
well.
visiting too, or just you live here?
Yeah, I do a little bit of modeling on the side, but also here to support our friend
Okay.
in the bikini swim week
You do
and her brand.
modeling?
A little bit.
Not for long.
Okay.
Really?
We have another question. Vivek Ramaswamy for POTUS 2024 for president. Yeah, hell no. Randy Wensner says he had a Riz and jokes and fresh and fit. Now what do I see as a PETA with game? Yeah, that's kind of funny. I have to pee, so just I'll play this.
Why?
What's your highest
Oh, yeah,
education
'cause I'm
level
old.
completed?
Actually, I don't know what you guys call it, but I've only done like 2 years of high school. So
We call it retarded.
yeah, well, I own 2 businesses and I did pretty well, so I don't think that's
Good job.
retarded. But
Okay,
anyway.
all right. We can fuck. We
Go,
can fuck.
Queen.
WW.
And then what's your relationship status?
I'm dating now, apparently.
Frank, where's Frank? Bring Frank.
No, I've agreed to be a girlfriend of some kind.
So you're dating one person or multiple people?
No, one person. Jesus Christ.
He hasn't committed to you yet?
No, he definitely is. Yeah, he's my boyfriend. Yep.
What gave you the title?
It's just a lot of responsibility, so I'm just,
For who?
For me. Does he have a kid or something? No. I mean, yes, he does. But
Whoa.
I've got kids too. I'm a mum. So, that's not why it's a lot of
What's the
responsibility.
kid's
Men
name?
are a lot of responsibility. They're very, it's like another child.
Wait, so is this nigga waiting in the parking lot right now?
No, he's back in Australia.
A boyfriend should not be like a child. We can definitely fuck.
Okay, so
No.
how long have you guys been together?
I think it's nearly 12 months now. Yep.
Okay, so did he say, "Hey, be my girlfriend," or did you ask him the question?
No,
what
he
are we-
definitely said, you need to be my girlfriend now.
And then you accepted.
I said, okay.
So why did you just say
He wasn't the first choice. That's why.
No, that's not it. I just, I've been in relationship after relationship after relationship.
we
and
know, yeah.
I wanted to try to be single, but it didn't last long.
No, you
Yeah.
could claim them earlier. You didn't. You said so that's an L.
No, he wasn't going anywhere. He loves me.
No.
Yeah.
He loves
I
me
mean,
enough to send
that's
you.
fine. Well, okay. What about you? What's your name?
Hey, I'm Camille. I am on Selling Dubai, HGTV.
How old are you?
32 years old.
Wait, 32. Got it. Where are you originally from?
Miami. I'm a native.
Okay.
And you're black.
And I'm black.
Let's go. We're gonna
I'm happy
fuck.
you didn't say the N word.
I'm half black. We're gonna fuck. Tell him we're gonna fuck.
All right. What do you do for work?
I am a real estate agent, and I sell both here in Miami and in Dubai.
And she's famous. You're famous. When we were making out earlier, she said she's on TV.
In his dreams.
What's your highest education level completed?
I got my AA in business marketing and management.
And then what's your relationship status?
I am single.
All right, cool.
All right. Welcome. All right, Queen.
Hey, y'all.
What about you?
Wait, aren't you the bitch that got dumped by Sneeko?
I ended it.
Oh my god.
Oh, sure you did. You ended with a high value male.
Wait a minute.
Aren't you from Kentucky? Some redneck
Wait a minute.
fucking trailer trash.
This is the girl I'm sitting over there?
I
know. Look, I'm telling you right now.
Yo, what?
Makeup,
fresh.
She's witchcraft.
Fresh. She changed load-ups, bro. Today's
Oh,
just
yeah,
bro.
bro.
Makeup is witchcraft, bro. Must be. Holy shit, dude.
Oh wait.
Oh, you didn't recognize her.
We gotta get off. Destiny's here.
Yo,
Sorry, Destiny.
off of Twitch. Yeah.
You know what's funny? It's like we have so many guys here that are banned in different platforms. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
bro. Like Zerka's banned.
We
on
back,
Instagram,
yo. What's up?
Destiny is banned on fucking Twitch.
Had to take a piss sitting down like a king. Had to answer some texts. Now we're back. Yo, whiz up. All right. So did I miss anything, chat? Let's go.
And then the forbidden ones are banned off everything. Well, one of them's banned off everything. Most canceled guy, and the other guy's banned off YouTube. It's
Wait, you know I'm banned off Twitch as well. Did you run today's episode with Twitch?
No.
I hope not. Okay.
Oh, we didn't take it off?
Yeah,
we gotta take this one off too. All right.
And why bite the bullet? I'm here. This is the Zerka show. Bite the bullet. Why?
No, Sneako's wifey, bro. Sneako's wifey.
No.
I was like, bro, like,
But Fresh, aren't you curious of why Sneeko fucking dumped her ass in the trash?
Base. Okay, so this is Sneeko's ex-girlfriend that I know of from a long time ago. She used to be Sneeko's masseuse, and then he raised her up, and she became Rumble wifey. Okay, and her look at those natural canisters over here. What?
We just
That's not what happened.
All right.
I ended things.
Let me just answer things real quick. Let me
Go
just
ahead.
get this stuff, and then you can go ahead and ask.
Dust her
questions.
off, man.
I'm-
What do you do for work?
I'm a massage therapist.
Okay. And then highest education is massage therapy, sir, right?
Yes.
Okay. And relationship status single.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Zerka.
Yeah. So why did he dump your ass in the trash and leave you for dead? Sneeko. I'm talking about Sneeko, the guy who dumped you.
this isn't cool.
I want to know.
He's not here right now, bro. Let's wait till he's here.
Look how good those like for natural. Those look fantastic, dude. Those are fucking huge. I mean, not to perv out, but like, this is such a subtle thing. I don't know if guys understand this. Okay, just look at how big those are at the curve, and I'm assuming these are natural. If they're not, then I'm an idiot. But oh my god.
Oh.
How about that?
Well, he kind of is here. Oh shit.
No, wait. Don't
He's
interrupt
in
her.
another state,
Yo,
allegedly.
Myron, Fresh, don't interrupt her tears. I haven't ate all day. Why did he dump you?
I ended things. We wanted
Why
different
did you end
things.
things?
It's a long
What's the
story.
reason?
We wanted different things
We?
in a relationship.
So you woke up at 3 a.m. at the same time. Let's wake up. Nigga, get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit. He dumped your ass, didn't he? Cry for me.
That was Kino as fuck. That was super smart. See, that was actually when he was in his prime. He actually said something brilliant where he's like, he said something awkward to release the tension. He said something absurd. Like, cry for me, bitch.
Okay, moving on.
What about you?
Welcome back, Miss
Welcome
Blackface.
back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I fucked this girl.
No.
Yeah, I did.
No.
Yeah, I did.
I rejected you several times on camera.
I know, but I got proof.
No, you don't.
I got proof.
You don't even have my number.
That's a role play. I didn't need a number to get
So first name. First name.
Okay.
ever.
Candace. Hi, I'm Candace.
How old are you?
I
Great
am
box. by the way.
26.
Where are you originally from?
I am from Texas. We did not have sex. I
Nah,
need to clarify.
What do you do
She
for
had a
work?
bad dream.
I do.
That's fucking hilarious.
I do OnlyFans. Unfortunately, somebody can save me.
I got you, girl.
Except for Zerka.
I got you. I'll save you and it'll feel like.
I would rather just do OnlyFans
Bitch,
until
shut
I'm
the
80.
fuck up. I'll save you. Myron, I'm gonna save her and it's gonna feel like deja vu.
All right. So OF highest education.
All right, OPC Don says, let me read chat. So do you think Zerka can come back or is he finished? Nah, I think he's done.
Level completed.
High school completed. We talked about the college situation. I don't think
No,
we'll
we
bring
don't.
that up again.
It's hot.
She got banned basically for doing
Yeah.
the blackface stunt.
She did blackface. She's a racist, by the way. What's her name?
It was accidental.
Yeah, she did. Dude, Myron, I fucked her in front of a mirror when she's the blackface. I thought I was fucking Jinx. Gotta catch them all. She has all the STDs, herpes, everything. Bro. Fuck that bitch.
And then said,
Relationship status.
Single.
Single.
What
yeah.
the fuck, bro?
Of course she's single. She got herpes.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
Nah, she doesn't. I'm joking. She's itchy.
No, she doesn't. Are you on a lawsuit?
Yo.
Lawsuit. Don't turn me on.
Come on now.
What is going on right now? Okay.
Damn. Alrighty.
What about you? Please save us.
My name is Lauren. My channel name is Lauren De Laguna. I am about to hit said wall.
But aren't you Jewish?
I am Jewish. Not just Jewish. I'm a.
So,
no,
have you met Frank yet?
You're one of them boys. One of them boys.
So wait, Lauren, and then how old are you?
29.
And weren't you trying to
That's
fuck
that old.
Nick Fuentes? You got caught on camera trying to
1000%.
fuck a virgin. You're trying to take his hymen. What the
I'm
fuck's wrong with you?
trying.
Well, Nick.
Are you gonna help me? Are you gonna wingman me?
He needs a white woman. He needs the best stock.
All right. Where are you originally from?
Laguna Beach, like my girl over there. So, yeah.
How come Jewish girls fuck so much? Like, you guys bored, right?
My cousin, 100% Jewish. She's not even a halfie like me. She is the CEO of a sex toy company.
And does she drink Christian blood?
I'm sure she does. Like every good. No.
So why did you?
Hold on.
We're still on YouTube. We're still
All right.
Jesus
Christ is Lord.
I'm sure she does it.
So from Laguna Beach, what do you do for work?
Well, I just graduated law school, passed the bar. I'm waiting on character and fitness. I'm hoping to be an attorney. In the meantime, I'm doing content creation, but I'm traveling a lot. So that's
And you have your law degree from, where'd you get it from?
Suffolk University.
Well,
so fuck you.
Massachusetts.
Yep.
Okay. And then what's your relationship status?
Single.
Cool. All right.
my
You know what kind of law you're gonna go into?
Yeah, actually criminal probably.
Criminal?
Yeah, I really like public defense work. Like
So
I
you
really
like
love
locking
it.
up black men?
No, she's gonna defend them.
Public, are you
You're gonna
retarded?
defend them? That's a lot of black men.
Actually, when I did public defense work, I think I only had one black client. the
Really? Because they
entire
make up like
time.
half the fucking statistics.
Well, it depends on like
Excuse
where
me,
you are.
I'm black. I'm half
I'm
black.
gonna
I can
defend my
say
black
it.
men.
Really? You're
Listen,
very
I'm half
hot.
black, and I gotta tell you, right? I'm as black as they come. Violent, lie, cheat, steal. I'm dead, nigga.
It's a great day to tan out there.
All
So.
right. Which lady's horny? Be honest. Don't
Still
waste my
make
time.
them black.
Who's horny? Raise your hand.
Okay, moving on, Smartly.
What? That actually worked. That's really fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, that's actually pretty epic. Okay. We'll give it a little more. I'm about to wrap it up, but
I want to feel like they have a fallback. Like, if somebody leaves you, you need to have something behind you to back them.
OSS says that lady interviewed JF. He rage quit because she kept on asking him dumb questions. Lauren De Laguna, I know exactly who that is. Yeah, no, I met her in Phoenix a couple weeks ago. We know who that
So
is.
they operate with, okay, I have a backup, so I only want a man and I don't want to have to need a man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Let me ask you a question. Who's going to invest more in the relationship and care about the relationship lasting? The person that wants a relationship or the person that needs a relationship?
The person, I feel like the person that needs the relationship.
Ah.
Who needs the
So
relationship?
If someone feels that they... But
That's
here's the thing.
manipulative.
Here's the thing, though. Men...
Ambition.
What I'm trying to say is that women typically mask their need for security and resources and money with words like ambition.
Men will be 99 years till the heart explodes from our chest, and we love to work. We love to work. Do a line and go to work. You guys work 4 years. We work 100 years. Who the fuck needs who for resources? The 100-year worker has the resources. You bitches, regardless, you try to trick him, and you try to say, Myron, that's manipulative that the girl has to need him. Myron's not making it from his angle. You have to need him. Either way, there's no choice. 4 to 8 years, you're gonna starve to death, bitch. You need men. We don't need you.
But we can also
don't need you
make
at
our
all.
own money, which is what our whole entire
You know how
point is.
how little we need you? When we're gay, we make even more money.
I'm sorry.
Who rules the world? LGBT, rainbow flag corporations, and all that gay shit? I'm telling you guys, we don't need you. We just like to be inside of you. Darling, I love to be inside of all you. I love fucking you guys, but you're useless. You don't bring resources. You work 4 years and expire, right? You need men to live. I don't need you for shit. I don't need you for shit.
You're 38 and never been married. I'm sorry.
Dang, girl.
He's 38. He looks about
The main
38 and
takeaway,
never
ladies, is
been
that
married.
men, right? Who are you more likely to help? The old lady?
That was fucking awesome. We have OPC Don saying, "Did you see Zerka and FNF roast ABBA on Preach? I think that's a big part of FNF being demonetized. Yeah, that was amazing. That was fucking awesome. I love that shit.
That's struggling with their bags, or the strong, able-bodied man that's carrying the bags, no problem? Who are you more likely to help?
Obviously, the older lady.
Okay, well, men like to feel like they're needed. When a girl's like, "Oh, I only want you," unfortunately, when women only want you, they don't do
It's all
certain
fun
things
in
to keep
games until it
They
bites
feel
you in
they're
the bank
equal to
account.
you.
Yeah, well,
They're
yeah,
not gonna
no
cook,
shit.
They're not going to clean. They're not going to
Okay,
be
let's.
submissive.
I'm gonna wrap it up if we can't find this video because this is like definitely what I want to see. Okay, I kind of want to see this.
How do you girls feel about open relationships?
Oh, okay.
Terrible.
Okay, we can start. When you say open, just so they
It
understand.
means the man. Well,
Do you
not
care
this.
what context is open?
I actually want to know how do you guys feel about a man who's comfortable with letting you go be with another man?
Okay, so open from the female being open.
Both sides. Yeah.
Both sides. Okay, so open relationships in general. We'll start right here and then work our way. Go ahead. What are your thoughts on it?
Jeez, I wish we went the other way. Yeah,
That's what she said.
I have not tried it, so it's difficult for me to form an opinion. I've only
But you think he's a bitch, right?
I don't know. It would depend on the situation.
Okay, Lauren De Laguna fucking sucks at content. We're gonna give it 1 minute until we wrap up the stream. Uno minuto. I have my lamp over here. Okay, we'll give it a minute. I'll put myself full screen. This is awesome. There's Kevin Samuels content. That's pretty good shit too. All right. Anyway, let's go. I think that was a good stream. We lasted about an hour and a half, but that's going to do it for me. I really think that with respect to the channel, we have a lot of content coming down the pike. I might react to, and I don't know if I'm too tired to do it, but I'll try to do content based off of the election coming up. There's something called a election prediction like format where there's a website called the AppMS, and I can figure that shit out and use polls to get you a good summary as to what the polls are saying writ large to get you the best results for who's going to win the presidency based off of like right now. So we'll see that. Hopefully that'll do well in regards to views, and that'll be next in the docket. Expect that like in about an hour or two if I actually get to working on it right after I'm done here. So anyways, hope you liked sorry. Hope you liked the stream. See y'all in the next video coming soon. See y'all. Bye. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Awkward. Let me figure this shit out. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Adios.